How to breathe during labor and birth. Welcome to the Hypno-Baby channel. I'm Dr. Natalie Fizet. I'm a retired family doctor who delivered 3,700 babies. This is your channel, so don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and be amazed. Of course, there's a big medical disclaimer. This channel is for entertainment only. You use it at your own risk. I am a doctor, but I'm not your doctor. Hi, I'm Dr. Natalie Fizet. Today we're going to talk about breathing during labor and birth. Well, first things first, whatever you do, you're going to have your baby. Because so people are so fixed on saying you have to breathe this way and in for 4 and exhale for 5 and this and that, but you'll have your baby anyway. Okay, so that's the first message. You can have it more comfortably if you control your breathing to a certain degree, because the first thing we do when we're born and the last thing we do at the end of our life is breathe. And you have to know that it's an automatic function of your body, okay? You don't have to think about breathing. And actually, when you think about breathing, or if you want to control your breathing, most probably you'll do it wrong, because it's like a clock. It does its thing. It's going well. It's a well-oiled machine. But if you try to count time, to keep time, and you're like moving the hands of the clock, you're gonna most probably you're gonna go too fast, or you could go too slow, but you're not gonna be as good as if you let the clock do its thing. So the same thing for the breathing. As I'm talking right now, I'm not thinking about my breathing, and the air is coming in and out. Same thing for you. As you're watching me, your air is coming in and out. That being said, it's true that during labor, some women have a tendency to either hyperventilate or block their breathing and then be uncomfortable from that. But you have to know that whatever technique, if you go for Lamaze or all the other breathing techniques, you have to know that if you're uncomfortable doing it, let's say they say in for 3 and then hold it for 4 and then exhale for 5. If you feel like your heart is pounding, that means it's not for you. And these techniques, like if you see Tony Robbins, he's 6'4". I'm 5 feet even, so I don't have the same lung capacity as him. So when he says hold it for 5 or 6 count, it doesn't work for me. Tony Robbins is not giving advice for birthing, but for relaxing. Okay, that said, if you take a deep breath, we're going to do one together, and they usually say in by the nose and out by the mouth, because the nose has hair, I'll say it, hair, that filters the impurities and everything. But if you're breathing in by the mouth, you won't have a hard time or anything. So they say smell the roses. So slowly, as if you imagine you're smelling a rose, and then you exhale by mouth as if you're blowing birthday candles slowly, or blowing a bubble. So we'll take a deep one. The main thing is also feel the breath in your entire body. That's a relaxing breath. So as you exhale, usually have your shoulders go down. So let's do one. So, and you can feel the relaxation, like you can picture it, like your whole body going down. Uncross your legs if your legs are crossed. We can do another one, and you see I'm not counting because we're not the same. So I don't know if you have lung capacity or 3, 4, 5, and same thing for exhale. So just follow your own pace. That's why people who do yoga find their own pace for breathing. Yoga is very good for breathing because it's a conscious breathing, which is okay in that because it's a relaxing breathing. So let's do it again. As I was saying, as much as possible, do not focus on your breathing, especially in the beginning of labor. If you're already like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're going to get exhausted, okay? Because most probably you'll be breathing too fast. You'll be overriding your own natural breathing. And it takes a lot of energy to do that. So I actually suggest pop in a movie, like a fun movie that you like, or a comedy, and just focus on that, or do something that you like to do, or walk around, take walks, but don't start like, okay, I've got to do, and then, pacing and a watch and everything, because you're forcing nature to do something it's not meant to do. The birthing partners here, I'm talking to you. If you see your spouse, because sometimes it's exciting. I'm having a baby, and if you go, like I said, Lama, sometimes hee hee hee, ha ha ha, and then ooh, I'm all doozy because it is way too fast. Okay, just saying it, I'm getting hyperventilated. What happens when you hyperventilate is you breathe too fast, so you're getting too much oxygen in, and it's like having too much sugar, like you don't feel good. So it's not dangerous, because the worst that can happen, and I had a patient that during the pushing stage, she did not take the Hypno-Baby course, but she would get, and I think she had the epidural, but the second the contraction started, she would hyperventilate and then she would faint. So that's the body's response. You're getting too much oxygen. What I'll do, I'll slow down your breathing by fainting you, so the body takes back over the breathing. Okay. And then she would wake up, and then another contraction would wake her up, and then she would hyperventilate and faint. And the husband was like, big eyes looking at me like, what's happening, and kind of panicking. So I would ask the nurse, like, check the baby's heart. Baby was fine, like, 140, and good variability going up and down, and, having fun, waiting for mommy to come around. So I told the husband it's fine, and she did that like 5 or 6 times. Like, she would faint and then wake up by another contraction, hyperventilate, and then faint again, which was her body's defense mechanism. Like, I'm gonna take back control. There's way too much oxygen going in that brain and to everything. Eventually, she got tired and she pushed right, and the baby came out, and everything was fine. But it was a weird situation. I've never seen. She would pass out every contraction, hyperventilate, pass out, body taking over. It shows you that your body is meant to birth, and it's meant to keep you alive too. So you cannot override it, and you should not. So all these techniques, if you're doing techniques, and it's okay if you watch my video and you watch 5 others and you go, oh no, I prefer the other one, in by the nose, out by the mouth, count 6. But if you're doing like count 6, hold it, or whatever, and you feel like, ugh, that stress feeling, that means it's not the right pace for you. So change your pace. Getting back to the birthing partner, if you see your spouse, the woman in labor, is like hyperventilating or kind of panicking, you can put your hand like flat like this, very comfortable. Don't push, like just put it like like a nice big warm hand, and you just gently push, and then put it up. As you can see, I'm doing a breathing movement, a slow one. Okay, she's gonna go and you're gonna like pace her, and at one point she's gonna follow you. I've seen a nurse do it, and my patient was like really going way too fast. And you can add like a nice calming word with that, saying slowly, and just that, she will pace with you, and she'll, even if she doesn't talk to you, she'll follow, like, and you don't press very hard, you don't like squeeze, but you press and then you lift, so you're doing a breathing movement. So eventually she'll follow you, because she'll find like, okay, this is restful. And like I said, at one point the body's so tired, it's like, okay, let's do this thing. It's way better than hyperventilating or hee 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 ha ha ha. The transition phase, when between 8 centimeters and ready to push, is intense. So sometimes you might need to blow a little, but the least fast you go, the best. Okay, so don't hyperventilate yourself. Okay, for the pushing part, again, you're gonna see so many videos, and find the one that works for you. It might not be mine, but find the one that works for you. For the pushing part, you don't need like the big coaching, rah, 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 push, push, push. You don't need to be screamed at, and you're going to feel the urge to push. It's really similar to needing to poop, and many women will say, I need to poop, and they're it's natural. Again, it's gonna happen. You can be more conscious at the end of the pregnancy when you need to pass a stool. Like try to, and you don't need to push forcefully most of the time, with some exceptions, like I'll explain to you. But when you're passing stools during the pregnancy, you're going to see it's different because the baby's head's down there. So be conscious and try to breathe. And when you exhale, try to push down. Your exhale goes, see your exhale going down your body until you feel the pressure on your perineum. You won't push the baby out. The cervix is holding the baby, and the baby's not going to fall in the toilet bowl, and you're not pushing forcefully. You're just like breathing. There's the J method, which is like, it sounds complicated. You have to do like a J and figure the baby that goes up and down. It just exhaling down, and you're gonna see it. Like you can see my hands, like you in by the nose, and then you exhale down, and you're going to feel like the energy going down where it's at. Some women will forcefully push spontaneously. They're like, ugh. If you see my other videos, I have videos of births with the Hypno-Baby program, and all the time my patients would ask me, when will I know it's time to push? And I always told them, you won't ask permission. And they're like, ugh. And then usually I would glove up saying, okay, she's fully, because the baby really pushes. It's like a big bowel movement, so it's normal. I've had patients that research, and they said, I'll just breathe during the exhale phase and like this. And I'm like, okay, as long as the baby's heart's fine, you do whatever. But after half an hour of this, they would, like, I'm at the end of the bed. They would go, so, and I'm like, you're doing fine, you're all relaxed, but baby's not moving at all. So at one point, sometimes it helps to bear down. And when they start bearing down, sure enough, you can see the baby like moving. Changing positions, very important. If you did not take the epidural, use gravity. Push on the toilet bowl, especially if it's your first one. Squat. Use the bar in the bed. They have like a big metal bar that you can use to squat. But don't force on the bar. I've seen some people, it looked like they were doing like squatting at the gym, and it's like you're wasting so much energy. You have to really be resting. Most of the time, it's the birthing partner that's behind you that you can hold or is holding you. But if you're forcing, like the legs are shaking and everything, you're wasting too much energy. You need your energy to push. So, like I said, the did not move the baby much, but if it works for you, fine. And I would always tell my patient yes, and then they would ask me, is it working? And I would give them feedback, whatever. And it's good to change position every 15-20 minutes. We would change position because baby has to turn inside, and gravity pulls on the baby. So like we were saying, the birthing bench or sitting on the toilet bowl, that helps for the pushing part. And follow your instincts. Some women will bear down, some will block their breathing, and blocking your breathing is not that bad. I know I'm contradicting many videos, but I've seen it so many times. It's such a short period, it's a couple of seconds, so baby doesn't crash, and then you breathe. Like usually after pushing, you're going to take a deep breath in, so you get the oxygen in. And if you see sometimes, like if a huge metal door is locked, you're gonna fill your lungs, and then you're gonna push. Okay, so sometimes you need to block your breathing to really get some force, so it's not a bad thing. Okay, again, do like my patients were doing. Ask your doctor, your midwife, is it progressing? What's happening? Should I change? Can you give me some feedback? So that's the a good way to do it. All I just said is mostly for first babies, because after you've had a second, if you're having a second baby or even a third, fourth, and the more babies you have, the truer this is going to be. At one point, like if it's your 10th baby, you could sneeze it out, honestly, because the tissues are so soft down there. You don't need to push. It's going to come out whatever you do. I've seen many women that, they were pushing, it was not progressing, and just turning them on the left side, you could see the baby taking its twist, and then like really getting down like fast. So changing position will help you for pushing. You don't need to push the second you're fully dilated. That is not related to breathing, but let's say you had the epidural, you're fully dilated, and the baby's still high, because the epidural kind of relaxes everything, but it relaxes the contractions too. So sometimes the cervix is fully dilated, but the baby's still high. So we usually just let women, like the baby will come down with this smaller contractions and they increase the pitocin. So eventually it passes a certain point, and then the woman feels the urge to push. And again, immediately her breathing will change spontaneously. She'll go, ugh, and then we know, like, okay, she's ready to push the baby, and usually it takes a couple of pushes. But if you look at the stats, it says like the second phase from fully dilated to baby's born is like 3 hours. It looks catastrophic. And if you have a hospital that's like on protocol, 1 hour for second baby and an hour and a half for first baby, no more, well, then you're going to have like all kinds of interventions or cesarean, and it's just that the baby's too high and it just comes down naturally. And if the heart's fine, they can wait. Again, you have to know that so you don't get unnecessary intervention. So breathe as much as possible. The simplest way is in by the nose, smell the roses, and then blow the bubbles. But it's really like a small blow, as if you want to blow bubbles away. If it gets intense, you can breathe a little faster, but the slowest you are, the better you're gonna feel, definitely. And when you want to push, your breathing is gonna adapt to pushing. Like everything you've learned or watched in videos, you're gonna have your own breathing most probably, and it's gonna be most probably you'll be like pushing. So see you on the next video.